Welcome, everyone, to another episode of the Adeptus Ridiculous podcast. My name is DK Diamantes, his name is Bricky, and oh, look at that, it's Kirioth. But before we get into all that, if you enjoyed today's episode and maybe you want to support the podcast, head over to patreon.com/AdeptusRidiculous, where you can get access to the Discord, bloopers if they happen. $15 tier gets you access to all of our posters in crispy digital form. Also, Shai is doing little snippet episodes of her opinions on, I think it is Warp Entities is the one that just came out. You should check it out. They're great. Patreon.com/Adeptus Ridiculous. Bricky, how is life? Kirioth, how is life too?
I mean, life is okay. It's a Monday. You know, we're back into the week. I'm leaving to go to TennoCon this week, which is a blast from the past for two of us.
I was going to say,
yeah,
isn't that quite the throwback there?
I actually be three of us. I mean, two other of me.
Other
of me. My clones.
In all fairness, TennoCon's a good time. Like, I may not jive with the game anymore, but TennoCon was always an amazing event to go to.
I'm kind of re-jiving, but I'm also just a little bit curious. Joke's on them. I'm actually going there to bring my Magic deck so I can play Magic with the developers.
Reb loves Magic, dude. Rebecca is a Magic addict, and the Final Fantasy cards just came out. I think you'll have plenty of takers.
I think she's probably gonna be a little busy.
Well,
but,
yeah, you know, it's crazy though. They make time for the fans. They'll make time for you, even though they are busy to the gills. I bet you anything, you'll squeeze in a game.
I don't know. I'm also trying not to take too much of their time, but regardless.
Fair. Anyway, Warhammer,
the other war. Kirioth, you're also
famously the other war.
The other hammer.
1914, 1914.
That's a good. That was good. That was a good callback. No, that was sick. Hell yeah.
Oh, Lord.
Okay. Hey, how's it going, everyone? Hi. Hey, Kirioth. How you doing?
Welcome back, Kirioth.
How's the heat wave in the UK treating you?
I hate it. This might be the shortest episode that we'll ever do because it means I'll be able to leave this room, and that's it. I'm not going to say that I debated recording this with literally nothing on, but I did think about it, and it's only, I feel like that's indecent even when it's audio only, but I don't know why. That's probably just a bit of repressed Britishness coming through, but it just doesn't seem proper. So as Shai says, I will dive heatstroke partway through. That's just how it'll go. It'll be fine.
Unfortunately, you had to have me type in Germa naked in chair meme so that I could use this meme properly, because that's the first thing I thought of. But now this is unfortunately something in my search history.
I was gonna say that's the dedication for a meme.
Yeah. It's not often you get to deploy that one, is it? That's a very specific one, it feels like.
Very, very much so.
I feel like Germa has a specific meme for literally every situation, though. Like that's, I'm unsurprised that there's something that fit this situation that he did.
He's just like a generally regular Boston streamer guy, but I think because of that, they treat him like he's a cryptid. And so there's always some kind of thing like that.
A normal man in Boston, that's a cryptid. It doesn't exist. They're all crazy.
That's true. Anyway, serial killer discussions aside, what's up, Kirioth? What you got for us today?
Oh, wait a minute. Some of my favorite Warhammer discussions are about serial killers. You stop that. This is...
To be fair, they make up 99% of all characters in Warhammer. So
yeah, right.
I mean, if you define what a serial killer is, no, that's like a war crimer or something.
No, you're right. That's way worse. Yeah, that's fair. That's fair.
If we're defining a serial,
that's a professional serial killer. That's the distinction.
He's gone from. The man is so good into his serial killing, he's collecting the box tops on each cereal from every murder.
Oh, yeah. Give us the quote, Carrie.
I'm gonna go straight in with this one. It's a little bit longer, but I think this gives you more than a fighting chance. So you need to thank Possum for that. And if I'm wrong, then it's on you. Do you see that? Whispered Loken. No, Garvey, I've suddenly been struck blind, replied. Oh, God, how do you pronounce this name again? Torgadon? Torgadon?
Oh,
I've never known
Torgaron
that.
or something. Yeah, right.
No, the Torgaron is the Imperial Fist guy. I think they call him Torgadon. That's how they pronounce it in the books or in the audio.
Okay. I've never heard it said out loud, and I've never said it out loud before either. So that's a first for me. Of course I see them. They look like Astartes. There's resemblance, I'll give you that, but they're far too short. They're wearing power armor. How is that possible? If you keep quiet, we might find out, said Torgadon.
Okay, crap. Well, Torgadon is in the original Horus Heresy trilogy, but spoilers, he doesn't stick around. Which makes me very upset. What? Can you tell me which book? Can you tell me which book this was? Why am I forgetting this? Which book was this?
This one would be. Oh, there's a question. I think Horus Rising, wouldn't it be?
The first?
Oh, is it the first or is it the third?
Third would be Galaxy in Flames.
Oh, maybe it's not the third. Maybe it's the second. I'll tell you what.
The actual book.
The actual book it's from, not relevant.
Oh. So they look like
I'd say steer
Astartes.
from the characters. And,
Wait,
and more
you say steer away from characters?
Yeah, and more the subject that they're discussing.
Artificer power armor?
You're honing in. You're not that far off. That's DK. Have you got a shout, or are we calling it there? Because it's very close.
Well, let's call it there because my brain blipped out the names and I was like, oh, something short that looks like power armor. Maybe it's a Votan thing, and I was like, nope, that's a dumb thing to say. Let's just go with Bricky's artificer guess.
Yeah,
you know what?
I'm thinking like power armor that's like unrelated to Space Marines of some sort.
You've got it. You've nailed it. Non-Space Marine power armor, of which there is quite a lot.
Hell yeah, I cheated.
You got there. That's the important thing. Not that.
Yo, what is that?
Oh, that's a bit of spot action right there. Yeah, look at that.
Oh boy. So when I said Votan, I wasn't too far.
I mean,
you weren't. You actually foreshadowed literally the last page of the script. So in that respect, you were spot on. You just jumped the gun slightly.
If I had $1 for every, anyway, that's not.
No,
anyway, how about
so non-Space Marine based power armor?
Yes, we've talked about Terminators in the past. Literally a couple of years ago, I had to check the channel because I vaguely remembered doing that episode, and then I was like, have I just imagined that? But no, we have. We've done Terminators, we've done Space Marine power armor. Now it's time for the armor given to those who are not the Emperor's finest, sort of. So we're going to interrupt your sudden hyperfixation with horse racing to bring you a fresh, hot new episode of Adeptus Ridiculous, and we're going to talk about power armor, but not the Space Marine kind, because Astartes are not the only ones that get to have armor that is powerful. As established in the Space Marine power armor episode, the idea of powered armor has existed since well before the Imperium and is intertwined with humanity itself, so much so that some worlds that were brought back in during the unification had their own modified forms of power armor when the Emperor or his sons arrived, which is one of the things for that quote there, where the Sons of Horus showed up and there were guys in power armor. I think it was the same group that had weird centaurs that had no upper body, and they had crazy bows that fired insane projectiles. I really wish I could remember which book that was. It might be Galaxy in Flames, but now that's just going to bug me.
Maybe. My first thought was the Interrex, but I don't think they...
I think it is the Interrex. I think it is when they first meet the Interrex.
The Interrex definitely not centaurs. No, I'm pretty sure the Interrex are like humanoids, right?
I think they had constructs or something that were like horses, but with no with no. There's going to be. I can just see the premiere chat right now going absolutely wild, going. It's this book. It's this book, and it's these people.
I'm sure it's fine. It's
I
not
feel like,
important.
yeah, I feel like it actually might be the Interrex, but that's okay. What isn't like the first group they run into in that first book that we read? Isn't it like they have like a false emperor and everybody's running around and like, oh yeah, that might be power armor that they're trying to mimic, but it's not. Just like they don't worship like the real emperor and that's like a fake and all that. Isn't that like pseudo fake power armor?
This does not matter. This does not matter.
This
is so unrelated to the topic. We're going to be on here for the whole day. Whether it's the first people they meet in Horus Rising, whether they're in False Gods instead, it doesn't matter.
I love that we collectively just hyperfixated on like, but where is it from? Where is it? When
that's what our comments do every time. They're always hyperfixated on the one detail about the thing you don't know. Fuck it. We're moving on. Other power armor.
It's all getting cut anyway. So, with all of that in mind, ignoring everything we've just said, we're going to be going over different examples of power armor within the Imperium itself, ranging from the Custodian armor to some incredible and adaptive armor that you can find on Necromunda. Much like last episode, Terminators won't be covered here, as they do need a full episode in themselves, which we have already done. So you can go back and look for that. Nor will exoskeletons be covered. Sorry, anti-imperial pockets of humanity, but there will be a little nod to the Leagues of Votan at the end as compensation. So, before we get into the episode itself, there's a very basic thing to go over, like right out of the gate, which is that power armor is more common than you might think, but it's not all like noticeably power armor. 40k has done a very good job of kind of connecting power armor with the visage of a space marine, but the name itself means that it's actually a lot more versatile than that when you take a closer look at it. Power armor is armor that is powered. That's it. It doesn't have to be Space Marine style. We'll go into some of the more specific means of how it's powered later on, but as long as it's armor that's powered, it kind of fits the bill. So an example being in the rulebook for Wrath and Glory, there are some very basic descriptors of power armor that you can pick up and utilize as a player character that fall into two categories. You've got light power armor, and that has a reduction in ceramite plating. It gives you boosted strength, but it has less plating, so less survivable, more nimble, and you will have heavy power armor, which is the opposite. You turn into a slow-moving walking tank, but you are a lot less nimble. What it looks like or how it functions varies from user to user, but that kind of serves as the universal constant with all non-Astartes armor going forward. Some of it's light, some of it's heavy, but all of it is powered very differently from faction to faction, especially those who aren't augmented. That's a great picture, and I love it.
Oh, that's...
Wait, okay.
You ever been so loyal to the Imperium that you're wearing a small church as a hat?
I was about to say the same thing. He's actually, it could be a she, I don't even know. They are wearing like a genuine cathedral. This might be one of the most Warhammer photos I have ever seen. I think if you were to show someone like, because people think like big beefy power armor boys, right? You get a lot of. It's one of the reasons why I like Rogue Trader, the game, so much, is because it really dives into all the other parts. Like you take the authoritarian, religious, like techno fetishistic style of Warhammer. This is perfect. Like this is the perfect image.
Yeah,
it's
and
so good.
Even though they're obviously wearing a chapel as a hat, that shit kind of goes hard, though. Like, that still looks really dope.
It really does. All the cables and stuff coming out with all the weird, like, servos going down towards underneath the mouth and everything. Yeah, it's great. I've never seen that art before. That's so cool. Okay, I'm going to block that out. I'm going to hold my hand up so I don't keep looking at it, because I will. before we get into the like civilian patterns of power armor, we're going to go right to the top of the ladder and talk about the most intricate and powerful power armor that you can find in the Imperium, which, of course, is worn by the Custodians. So the first and most visually similar to Space Marine power armor is Custodian power armor. However, unlike Space Marine armor, which is a carapace for battle, the gold armor of the Custodians is a unique living piece of art. Each set of Custodian armor is forged in secret in the Imperial archives, and it's fitted uniquely to the wearer. And, unlike the ceramite used by Space Marines, Custodian armor is made from auramite, which is a great name, and I've always liked the fact that it's just gold by default. Super fancy, straight from the off.
It's a very enjoyable name too, because they used to have a stratagem for Custodians called auramite and adamantium, and it was like a buffing stratagem. I loved it so much. It was just like a really it has a aura, one might say.
It does.
Damn, before you said that, I was going to say, so to make the armor, you need to go aura farming.
Well, no, I mean, it depends. You gotta get aura might. Screw it. Continue.
Oh man, he tried so hard and he got so far.
It was a valiant attempt.
The aura might save you against those demons.
No, sorry, it's over, man.
I know, dude. It's so.
You should have just let it go.
It's never been more over.
Auramite, exceptionally rare. It's similar to ceramite, but it is different in a few ways. Most notably, the Emperor was clad in auramite armor, so the Custodians matched him in style, but it wasn't just for show. In The End and the Death, auramite is described as, and this is my favourite bit of absolute nonsense Warhammer talk, almost quantum inert, and thus most efficacious in the manipulation of immaterial forces.
What the fuck are you talking about?
I was about to say, that is some word soup. Like, just vomit out words, I guess.
Someone got paid to write that, which is by itself amazing. Almost quantum inert. Effectively, it's good. It's good with channeling stuff to do with the Immaterium. That's essentially what that boils down to. I still don't understand what quantum inert means, but it's fine. The only thing more effective than auramite when it comes to conductivity is bare skin. So having something monumentally stronger than skin be almost as effective as it is when it comes to honing psychic manipulation, I mean, you've got to go for auramite. It's the best choice. Even if the one-sentence explanation sounds terrible. Auramite's natural colour, bright, shiny gold that you'll see in your run-of-the-mill Custodian, but they can change the colour if need be. The process in which it's done is a closely guarded secret, of course, but due to the gold nature of it, the process is almost entirely alchemical and is done on a molecular level instead of just being repainted, which is insanely extra.
Yeah, that seems like a long way to go to change the color. Like, you got to mess around with molecules instead of just, like, painting it.
Get it in a house paint, big brush. No, can't do that with this lot. It does make me wonder, is it impossible to paint it? Does it just shine through gold no matter what you do? Or is it...
No, that can't be true, because there are the other Custodian styles, like the Solar Watch and the Shadow Keepers. So,
well, that's the thing, though. They have to recolor the armor through an alchemical process on a molecular level. So for that dude, for him to go from gold armor to white armor, his armor has to go away and be changed on a molecular level.
To make it white.
Listen. You ever wonder why you don't do two thin coats for the Custodians? You do one thick coat, and that's how this works.
The armor ends up 3 inches thicker because you're just piling on coat after coat, really thick every time. The armor has got the thing of having the full name of the Custodian attached to it, so it's inscribed on the interior of the armor. and it's also inlaid with a bunch of gems that reflect the role of the Custodian. The gems are mined on Terra, and they're inlaid by artisans in the Imperial Archives. The right shoulder guard of the armor depicts the Aquila, while the left one shows which shield company or host the Custodian belongs to. The colour will match the colour on the tabard and the robes as well, and if the Custodian switches from one organisation to another, the armor will be tediously refitted to show this, with both the alchemical, molecular color process and changing out all the gem inlays as well. So if a guy goes, I'm joining them, I'm joining that lot, then that is probably the life's work of some poor sod, 80 levels below sea level, who's had to sit there with his color-changing alchemical device because one guy decided, I quite fancy black armor, Very.
How often do they really need
Warhammer.
to change it, right? Like, how often does a Custodian change, like, I don't want to say companies, but,
I like the idea. I like the idea of there just being one guy who does it repeatedly out of spite.
Yeah,
It's just like,
because he
I know
knows
how
the color guy and he is holding a grudge, yeah.
just doesn't like him for some reason. Despite the immense size and weight, the Auramite armor of the Custodians is almost completely silent due to how intricate the servos and motors are. Of course, it's got to be the best of the best. And built into the armor is a grav chute and a self-regulating internal air circulator, which I'm assuming just means that when you're fighting Nurgle, you don't get overwhelmed by horrible smells, which, you'd want that.
Fair play,
I'd also argue something, horrible death world full of poison, something.
That too. That's also helpful.
As you do in 40k, yeah. Radiated death world, yeah.
Okay, is this the right time for a controversial opinion? I don't really like the helmets. I don't like the cone. Yeah, I don't like the cone helmets. They look weird.
So
they've never sat right.
I'm torn. It depends on how the artist does it.
Mm-hmm.
Like this one that Shai posted earlier. I think this one is sick.
I think that one's
cone
banging.
helmet works a little bit better. I actually do like the Warden helmets, the one that has the eagle as like the big unibrow.
Oh, I love that one, actually. That one slaps hard. I think that looks great, actually.
Now I feel like I'm going to be in trouble because that's my least favorite one.
I mean, I could be hypocritical because I think these look sick, but I think Eldar bowling ball heads are dumb.
Wow, that does seem like they're on the same wavelength, and that does seem a little okay.
I don't know. Sometimes some things just hit and some things don't hit. I think it's personal taste.
Fair.
I don't know. Also, I mean, I do find this piece of artwork really, really good. I don't know. It's just
that is quite cool. It seems to depend on the scale of the head. I think that maybe that's what the issue is. Like when you said like who's drawing it. Like some of them it feels like the head is gigantic, and then all I'm looking at is the pointy helmet, and I'm not really taking in the rest of it. But the two that you posted, it's like it feels way more proportional.
Yeah,
I don't know if I'm crazy. I've never seen this artwork before, but it's clearly official artwork. This is sick.
Oh yeah, that's I think we all agree that's pretty good.
Yeah,
right?
No, that's badass.
That is awesome. I have never seen that before. God damn. Okay. But I don't know. I don't mind the heads. They are a little bizarre, but I think it's proportional. I think you need the pointy top head to match out the thickness of like the pauldrons and stuff. Personally,
yeah, because like on some of the older pictures that Chai posted of them just kind of standing in the front, their heads are way too big compared to like the rest of them, and it does look a little silly. But like on all these art pieces, it looks really, really nice.
I will say the Terminators, I love. Just love them. They're so good.
I do love the Terminators. I think that kind of like maybe doesn't confirm my thesis, but like the Terminator heads are small and like in that turtle shell, but they still have the plume for like the top part to differentiate. So I don't know.
They've still got the height, But I think also because it's so built up around the head, it makes I don't know, it just makes him look super up armored. It looks so good.
Pretty
good.
I don't know if it's just me, but when I see that one specifically, all I can think of is that big alien from the Fifth Element that gives the humans the key in the beginning. I don't remember what they're called.
No, that's more like Saturnine Terminator. He's got the wrong shapes. He's got the wrong
I
shape.
don't know, man. As
he is gold.
soon as I saw that, I was like, that kind of looks like
That's like the 10th time you boss babied that alien.
When were okay, fine, whatever. Move on. Fine.
I also love that the Terminator has got a bolter on one wrist whilst also having another bolter on his axe. Because you can never have too many bolters.
Whoa! I'm gonna actually you on this one.
Oh dear!
Sorry, I gotta do it. That is a ballistus grenade launcher on his wrist.
Oh, my apologies.
And that is a
still so
on the
cool.
staff. So yes, as I have found many a times, 3 Alaris custodians will drop down and like murder 20 guardsmen immediately because they have grenade launchers as well as their bolters.
Excellent. Love that. I mean, that just makes it better.
Naturally.
So there's a few different distinct platings that you'll find within the Custodians. There's the Auric Battle Plate, which is the type you see commanders wear. Tend to be a bit heavier, more intricate, built more for sturdiness with less flexibility. There's Auric Demi Plate, which is a lighter version of the armor that's meant to be less bulky and allows the user to be a hell of a lot faster than they already are. And there's the standard Auric War Plate, which is exceptionally resilient form of armor. It's got field generators embedded into it, allowing it to be impervious to small armaments and close to impervious to bigger ones as well. And there's quite a lot of flexibility in that armor, making the Custodian a lot more versatile in the field of battle as opposed to your like run-of-the-mill Space Marine. As a slight aside to that, but related, we also have the Sisters of Silence. So quite often alongside the Custodians, you have the Sisters of Silence, and they've got their own unique armor, which is kind of like power armor-like. So it's called Vratine armor, and Vratine armor is described in a fairly unique way, which I'm going to have one of you read out. Dealer's choice. DK, go.
Yeah,
it is a sub-pattern of technologically advanced battle gear which shares design elements with both the power armor of the Legionis Astartes and the silicate mesh of Selenite Void Mail. Though unlike either of those famed armors, it is not, at least, without additional gearing, fully environmentally sealed or designed for extended operations. Cool.
The finest techno babble. Love it.
It really is though, isn't it?
And it looks solid. That's such a good piece of artwork. So there's obviously the reference to Astartes power armor, which makes it a bit more straightforward, but the reference to Selenite void armor is a little bit more obtuse. So this is referring to the gene cult on Luna that was known as the Selenar. They existed on Luna for generations. They became rulers of the moon during the Age of Strife. They have the Gene Witches, which is just, we got the Bene Gesserit at home, and they were on Luna. They were absolutely ripe for another episode about genetic manipulation. But the bit that's important for this is that they wore armor that allowed them to exist in the void-like lack of atmosphere on Luna. And that armor served as an inspiration for the design of the Vratine armor, especially due to the fact that they share a common locale, because the Somnus Citadel of the Sisters of Silence is on Luna as well. So it's not a full carapace like the other ones mentioned, but it is exceptionally resilient against energy weapons, and like the Custodes, it allows for extreme freedom of movement, and it's forged individually for the wearer, so every suit is unique, and it looks badass.
Yeah. Does anybody dislike the way the Sisters' armor looks? Like, really?
I've known almost no one who dislikes the Sisters of Silence armor. It's a combination of, I think the plume is sick. The cape is awesome. I don't know what it's called. I'm sure there's a medieval like a big medieval person or like chatter that knows this, but it's like that grill over the mouth. It kind of has like that upward slant that like old kind of like old school knights had. I don't know exactly what's called, but it looks so sick. And then it's just the cape and the fur. The cape and the fur is everything.
Fair.
Yeah.
I mean, I like them all, but yeah, the ones with the cape and the fur look really good.
It's also very, like, when I say very close to non-sci-fi armor, I'm not sort of any sort of expert, but they're models that it feels like if they're not holding a gun, you can kind of drop them into anything and they fit. There's something kind of like fantasy about them, but they're still completely at home in a sci-fi environment as well. Feels very like versatile, weirdly. I love them. They're great.
Yeah, I mean, knight armor itself is pretty versatile. Like I know people make the misconception that like old school knight armor was clunky and stuff, but you actually move pretty quick. Also, that is my favorite Sisters of Silence photo by far. It's that one artist they use all the time that makes that insane stuff.
It's so sick. Look at my god.
Yeah, that's insanely detailed.
I also just love like the genuine like crushing aura around them. Like it's very clear, like this is a blank, right? Like this is a soulless individual. Like they literally have no soul. So
they're one of the most terrifying like Imperium like factions, just in terms of the way they're presented. There's something about them that just look horrifying all the time. They've done a really good job with them overall.
I think it's also the knowledge of what they're used for. Like I mean they're kidnappers. They're kidnappers for the most part, you know.
They sure are.
Galactic kidnappers.
Yeah, I mean they go. I mean, can you imagine just like barreling down this person, just like take your baby, and then like, all right, get in the horrible claustrophobia coffin. Like, they're pretty awful. Or they murder demons, but like, you know, or other psychic based things. But
and good luck stopping them because like they just knock at the door and it's like, oh man, my head. Oh, this is awful. Oh God, I can't even open the door. God. Good luck.
No one wants a house guest who makes you like just reflexively vomit as soon as they show up at the door. No one wants that.
No.
I was gonna say stay related, but it's not really. It's just the use of the words sister of. We're gonna move on to the Sisters of Battle from the Sisters of Silence. So before we get into the power armor of the Sisters of Battle, we need to get into what happens with all the stuff that's made for them. Because, surprisingly, a tech priest basically just shows up with the Amazon box, says, here you go, and that's it. They put it on, and then they leave. Easy. Done. Nothing to worry about.
Are you fucking with me? I can't tell.
100%. Bricky, could you read this for me?
Oh, I was like, damn, some dude just picked some person and they just show up with a box and you're a sister now. Like, I was like, Ricky, what is this true?
I was like, I know the sisters and their rituals. There's no okay. Here we go. Every piece of war gear supplied to the Adeptus Sororitas is first taken to either the Convent Prioris on Terra or the Convent Sanctorum on Ophelia 7. There, they are blessed by choirs of novitiates in rites that can last for days or even weeks. Weapons are daubed in sacred oils and polished by cloths that have been touched by saints. Every bolt and chainsword tooth is inscribed with verses from the Fede Imperialis, the battle hymn of the Adeptus Sororitas, to ensure that its path and its bite is true. Specialty war gear destined to be wielded by a canoness may be sprinkled with the blood from the font of martyrs. This is so funny. that stands in the inner sanctum of each convent before being placed amongst the crypts of fallen saints to lie in repose until it is taken up by its bearer. A sister will typically make a pilgrimage to the great convent of her order to have her war gear bestowed upon her, and through sacred rituals, her soul is bound to her armaments. From this day forth, sororitas and weapons operate as one to vanquish the enemies of the faith. I disassociated when you said that comment earlier, knowing full well it was bullshit, but I was like, wait a moment.
Oh God, it's so
Just a
stupid.
little
I
different.
love it, but it's just like whenever we talk about the Imperium and like the lack of efficiency, I mean, if you wanted it condensed into 3 short paragraphs, there you go. This is a major military fighting force in an empire that is permanently at war with literally everyone, including themselves, on, repeated multiple occasions, 2 or 3 times a day. And they're blessing and inscribing every piece of ammunition and every tooth on a chainsaw.
I was
before it
about
gets
to
sent
say.
someone who's going to go out into battle, and the chances are pretty good they're going to die immediately.
I mean,
Yeah.
maybe not the sisters.
Okay,
they'll-
yeah, you might get
like-
a year of use out of it, maybe. But it's
You-
still
you-
like,
I mean, considering the fact that, like, much like we've discussed before, most of the time the sisters probably fight like heretic uprisings and like traitor guard. Because that's what their main thing they fight. They probably get a good bit of use about it. It's not too
Yeah,
often
that's
they
fair,
actually
actually.
come up against like actual Chaos Space Marines.
Mhm.
Much like how guardsmen are normally like, all right, you're being deployed to deal with like the Chaos Guard in this area. Deal with it and move on. There's not a whole Vrax doesn't happen every week. Well, no, it probably does. It doesn't happen every week for the same regiment.
yeah. The unluckiest regiment in the Imperium. They have to deal with a Vrax-like crisis every single week. Just, oh, really? Again?
Yeah, that's going to be my new style of war video game. It's going to be called a Vrax-lite.
Oh,
yeah,
hell
it's-
yeah.
Yeah. It's a Vrax-lite or a Vrax-like. Depends on the kinds of mechanics. That's
you
so
imagine being
funny,
the-
though.
Or sap that has to inscribe every tooth on a chainsword with a verse.
No, no poor
sucks.
sap. They truly care.
Oh,
that's true. They probably think it's a
their
high
given
honor, don't they?
Yeah, it's just I just love a verse, not even like just 1 or 2 words, a full verse to be inscribed on the tooth of a chainsword. Like, we know what chainswords look like. We know how big the teeth are. That is some insane like artisanal work that's going on what is effectively a like replaceable wear and tear item on a weapon. Because they don't roll out the factory and then you go, and that will never need any more teeth. No, they get stripped out when they touch armor. So if that
yeah.
sister of battle fights someone who's got something to block it with, she's gonna
All
have
your
to
work.
replace. Yeah, it's like,
Literally every book where a chainsword exists, you will inevitably hear like, oh yeah, I revved my chainsword and put it against the armor, and man, all the teeth went flying. And it's like, jeez. That was 15 years of work, you asshole. What the hell?
That's because they keep using it against other Space Marines. Normally, it works fine against its intended target, which is a Joe from accounting who turned chaos.
Yeah. And Shai does make a good point. It's a nice, safe job. I'd much rather be a bullet verse inscriber than, any kind of servitor.
that's fair.
I just love the idea of like getting invaded and you're like an administratum person or something of that nature. And then you see the sisters, or you're like the person who like inscribes the bullets or whatever. And you see the sister and she goes in and she starts taking out the heretics and she's like, get down. And she puts like full auto mode on the bolter and she goes, and sends out like 40 shells instantaneously. And you're like, that took me 4 months to inscribe those bullets. And it's just within 4 seconds, it's
That is
just gone.
It's like the thing where like gun YouTubers will fire a gun and then they'll be like each one of these magazines costs however much, or each bullet costs however much. But in the Imperium, it's not dollars, it's life. It's literally the amount of remaining life that person has. So when a sister goes absolutely berserk, unloads full auto 4 or 5 times, there is someone that is a year of their time alive gone, which is peak 40k, really. It's so much work.
It costs $400,000 to fire this weapon for 12 seconds.
Yeah.
It's so funny because it is like a year's worth of work, but it is also like probably a lot of money.
You got to train them to do it to start with. Surely that's going to take a while. There's so much investment into making sure each shell has got a verse inscribed on it. Madness. Love it. So, the actual armor itself, we might have got a little bit diverted there. The armor worn by the Adeptus Sororitas is forged on Mars, and it's designed to be light and flexible, whilst also being more friendly to like unmodified humans than most of the other suits of power armor you'll find in the Imperium. The Sisters' armor of today is the same style of armor that was commissioned by Goj Van Dyer for the Brides of the Emperor, and hasn't really changed much since that era in Imperium history.
Who?
Sorry,
Doge.
Who's that? My mistake.
Sorry, one more time? One more time? Sorry?
I believe I said Doge.
That's what I thought you said.
Yeah.
He can stay.
You'll live.
For now.
Between that and the Custodian's helmet opinion, I'm on like strike
You're
2.
on thin
I've got
ice,
to be real
Kyrian.
careful.
No, they'll only care about the Custodian's helmet opinion. They don't care about our memes.
So there is something to note about the Sororitas armor, which is the bionics within the armor itself. So Space Marines have got the Black Carapace, which allows them to directly connect to the armor. It allows for a lot of the augmentations to kick in and for interfacing to complete. That, combined with the fibre network in the armor, allows it to basically function like a second skin. However, the Sisters do not have the modifications that you see in a Space Marine, so there's no Black Carapace. To compensate for that, and for quite a few other non-Space Marines as well, they've got interface ports implanted in their bodies that allow for the body to connect and interface with the armor, similar to Space Marines, but not in such an extreme manner. In fact, if you look at the penitence models, the Repentia, you can see that they've got the ports like embedded in their forearms and biceps and stuff, which they need to be able to operate the power armor properly. That being said, the power armor lacks some of the more advanced systems that you'd find in a Space Marine suit of power armor. There's no like incredible boost to strength. It's far more plate armory than carapace armory. There's some models that do provide a bit of a boost to strength or durability, but that kind of comes as a trade to general like maneuverability. Despite lacking those aspects, though, it does utilize the same power source that you'd find in Astartes armor, so if it's maintained in a proper manner, Sororitas armor will last pretty much forever.
And considering how much effort they put into sanctifying it, I imagine they will.
Yeah.
They've got to really look after that. I love that artwork, by the way. Love it.
That's the Magic the Gathering card.
Is it really? Is it?
Yeah. That's the Magic the Gathering card art. Sister Repentia. They are a 3. Never mind.
He was about to go on his new hyper. It is great. Like the magic artists always go hard, and they did this right.
I mean,
also poor Necrons.
I'm gonna say it anyway. Sister Repentia is a 5 mana cost. It's Orzhov. It's black white. It does. So sisters do have a mechanic, which is really cool, called Miracle, which is if it's the first card you draw that turn, you can pay like way less mana for it. Because you're like, oh, I need a Miracle right now. I'm pulling up the top deck of the card. Yes! And then you play it for cheap. But it's a 5/1, which is hilarious. And it's when it dies, you gain 2 life and you draw 2 cards because martyrdom.
Oh, that's kind of cool. That's another one that's like, oh yeah, that's how sisters work. You're pulling for a miracle, and they martyr. That's dope. I love that.
The flavor of the Warhammer Magic cards is unparalleled. Is so good. I do also that is my favorite Repentia art out of them all because it's just so awful. But it really kind of gives you a good vision on that type of thing.
There is definitely a contrast there. Like the magic art does look really good, but then that other one, there's some like horrible self-inflicted,
that's
going on there.
Stuff going on
that lady, yeah. That is rough. That is really.
It is a Repentia, and realistically, probably looking more like the second one, right?
Oh, yeah, 100%. But they've got problems.
Most 40K art recently, I've harped on this a million times, but the new, like, heavily darker art scheme that they've been doing is really good.
But getting back into making it nasty, which is, frankly, what I want. So, the most important part of the Sororitas Power Armour comes in the form of the helmet. So there's a slightly more uncommon pattern of helm, which is the Ophelia helm, but the most prominent helm pattern is the Sabbat pattern helmet, which has got all your usual fixings. Really durable, seals the user in from the harshness of whatever environment they might be in, has a rebreather, which allows for usage in borderline void-like settings, and it's crafted with psi nullifying materials, which allows some baseline defense against warp entities. It's also got photo visors, targeting system, comlink, a spectrum filter. They're built to help in the field of battle. Some of them have witch hunting devices to aid with this as well, like a psy-oculum, which basically allows them to see psychers under any light by sensing their position rather than seeing them directly. Some of those helmets have got like a big fleur-de-lis on the front, and those are reserved for the more elite or honourable members of a given squad. You see them more commonly in the ranks of like the Sisters Superior than your general like rank and file troops. Now, Possum, for God's sake, you may be asking yourself, Kirioth, you monumental luminary, why... They're getting more esoteric every time, these. Why is it that I only see sisters wearing helmets some of the time? It's due to a few factors. So for starters,
Space Marines do that too. I kind of gave up on that and just said like, because they're that way and because it looks cool. That's it.
Because cinematic, thematic. Sometimes you gotta see the actor under the helmet, right?
Yeah, intimidation, all of those reasons are given, depending on the chapter. But there is an actual like reason given for at least the Order of the Sacred Rose. They distribute helmets based off of courage shown in battle. So that's something. I do like the idea that the braver you are, the more protection you get, which I can kind of see the logic, but it's also like, you don't want people getting shot in the head, so maybe just hand them out to start with. Other times, the usage of the helmet might be restricted unless it's environmentally necessary to do so, as some believe that you should not restrict your face to the light of the Emperor. Plus, sisters, your faith is stronger than any armor. The Emperor will protect. Right up until he doesn't, presumably.
Yeah. Well, they also got that iconic white hair, too, that a lot of people probably want to, like, show off. Instead of like, oh, we don't want to hide like the iconic look behind a helmet.
It's funny you mention that, because you could put your tinfoil hat on and play with the idea that the helmets are made out of psi-nullifying materials and then conclude that their faith working is a manifestation of the warp. Therefore, wearing the helmet would obstruct their ability to manifest and experience the warp-based miracles that they experience on the battlefield. Or you could just go for the meta reason and say that Games Workshop wants to show off their cool nuns with guns with their white flowing hair. Could be anything, really.
Yeah.
I mean, if you want a character, you show their face. You just find a reason to do so.
Yeah, every time. It's rule of cool, really, for everything.
Sly Stallone kept taking off his helmet in Judge Dredd. You got to show your cool characters you paid all that money for. Yep.
We don't talk about that film. Well, we can, but he should not take off the helmet. It's not on.
It's I won't diverge this too much. It's campy fun. Like, it's not a great Dredd movie, but yeah, like Shai said, it's kind of funny. It's kind of fun. Anyway.
Yeah, it's very fun. It's very enjoyable. I don't want to see his face because he's Dredd.
Dredd, yeah.
That's pretty much it. That's the whole thesis. Yeah. I'll still watch it, but I'm like, put the helmet back on. Come on. Anyway, now we need to talk about Inquisitors, because the Inquisition obviously have the most confusing array of armor, that you've got a sort of equal mix of contradictory and cool. And because there's somewhat of a longevity for this faction in the franchise, it also has some of the oldest lore out there. So there's a lot going on with Inquisition Power Armor. There is one particular pattern that needs to be discussed. So we're gonna bring back one of our oldest friends, Inquisitor Obi-Wan Sherlock Clouseau, who, as a reminder,
what a guy!
Oh boy, that name is just, man. The depths of originality at G-Dub are staggering. Also, I don't know why I didn't realize that, like, Inquisitors wore a type of power armor. I never actually thought about what they were wearing, because it's like, oh, the dastardly Inquisitor. Not always dastardly, but the Inquisitor shows up and they're just using psyker powers and stuff. And I never really thought that they had power armor, actually.
Well, you got the obvious one of Inquisitor Kotyaz, who went from having really cool power armor to wearing a big nappy. You got him, so that's something. Diaper, sorry.
Thank you. I was trying to figure out the hell you were talking about. I'm sorry, I don't have all of the slangs.
I said it, and I was like, I've made a mistake here.
These Yanks are going to know what the hell that is.
So, Inquisitor Obi-Wan Sherlock Clouseau, and who, as a reminder, looks like he might have a fairly ghoulish take on the new Superman movie, despite not seeing it yet.
Is that what Possum put in?
That is what Possum.
To be fair,
yes, that's
do you remember?
So funny.
Do you remember what the first comment Possum wrote about this guy was? He looks like he has ghoulish opinions on the all-female Ghostbusters movie. That was the first one he wrote.
I forgot about that. That's so I appreciate the use of the word ghoulish.
Yeah, you don't get a lot of ghoulish these days. It's
a rarity. Hell yeah.
So he's described as a typical Inquisitor in the Rogue Trader rulebook, and when it comes to his clothing, he is described as wearing the following. DK, you're up.
Oh, hell yeah. He wears a suit of skin-tight powered armor under a long, enveloping cloak. Like most Inquisitors, he disdains the open wearing of a helmet in favor of civilian headwear. Inquisitors tend to be eccentric in their dress as well as their lifestyles. Under his cloak are hidden various energy field devices: conversion field, stasis field, and refractor field. Only one can be used at once. Huh. They are pretty decked out, aren't they?
Oh, 100%. Inquisitors, they get all the best stuff. So, as you can guess, like, that's not really elaborated on. Like, you can assume that it's some form of powered mesh or a high-intensity Kevlar of sorts, and if you to take the armor chart in the same section as something that explains it, it has very similar defense properties to Space Marine power armor, but it lacks a lot of the other benefits, particularly the environment-based stuff. There is something a bit more commonplace, though. There's the Malleus power armor, which is one of the most recognizable power armors you'll find Inquisitor-wise. The name's a bit of a giveaway, but you will find this armor usually within the Ordo Malleus. But even within that Ordo, it's fairly rare, but very sought after. So it's pretty much essential. It looks so good, that picture.
Yeah.
It's great.
That's a classic one, too.
The bolt pistol and big book combo is absolutely peak.
Yeah, the big book is a huge part of that one.
What a legend. So it's essential. Like, this armor is pretty essential when it comes to missions involving potential demon incursion or interactions due to the sheer volume of wards that is inscribed into it. But the wards aren't necessarily that strong. They're temporary at best. So some of the wards may falter or break after a single encounter, but the knowledge that a ward might injure a demon is enough to satisfy the members of the Ordo Malleus, as they view these hits as divine retribution and something that can result in a demonic death. The main and really only difference between this and your standard Astartes power armor is the power pack. So the Astartes armor has an indefinite power pack, whereas the standard issue pack for Malleus armor allows it to operate for a week without recharging. It can be swapped out if it needs to be, but there is a distinct difference when it comes to how long it can operate between charges. That is solid as well. The
Also,
black and gold. Oh,
Is that still just Malleus Inquisitor power armor? Is that just a different, like, God, that's so cool. I wasn't sure. When Shai posted that, I was like, oh, what is that? Like a Chaos Corrupted Inquisitor or something? Like, Jesus.
Inquisitors do a lot of like customization and stuff. A lot of their gear isn't necessarily standard. They'll have, strange ammunition. They'll have all sorts of crazy things going on. In the Soul Drinkers omnibus, the Inquisitor that's kind of dispatched to deal with the Soul Drinkers, something that he has are like ammunition for his bolt pistol that can track targets and just puncture through them over and over again. And the Executioner that he takes with him is basically got a sword that is part of like the Inquisitional retinue, where it's like a grav-assisted greatsword. So they have all sorts of mad gear that no one else has got.
Mm-hmm. Shai, I was this close to boss babying Fifth Element again.
It's almost Fifth Element as well. Every time.
When I tell you, I was so close.
When's the last time you watched The Fifth Element?
It's probably been like years.
I think it's
listen,
yesterday.
I SpongeBob everything, so I'm not really in a position to talk.
It's like I don't do it that much.
So I keep my mouth shut over here.
Like, no, Shai, I don't do it that much. Now I'm like, oh, damn, she right, though.
Oh, God. Okay. I've got another quote for you. There is a I was going to say it's not close. It's not close at all.
Now that I see him again, it's like, damn.
Wait,
no,
that was the thing you thought it was?
She was pinpoint. That's not, it is. Okay. All right. No, yeah. Okay.
No, hold on before we move on. You're getting confused, DK. You're thinking of the Horus Heresy Saturnite armor.
Yes, totally. That's probably what I'm thinking of. You're right. I'm just.
It looks a little closer with the shoulders and stuff.
I'm just gonna take my lumps here. It's not even. It's,
to be fair,
I appreciate the effort, guys, but no, this is just me being dumb again.
The old version of Saturnine armor, which was never called Saturnine armor until Games Workshop decided to accept, fan canon as actual canon, looked way closer to the Fifth Element guys. In fact, when we did that Terminators episode, we had a whole section where there is a type of Terminator that is the first version of that, like the new Saturnine Terminators, but it wasn't called that. They never called it that, but people thought that it was that, and now it's become that over the course of decades, with Games Workshop just going, everyone says that the ones with the huge shoulder pads are Saturnine, so they're Saturnine now.
Let's go. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Which makes that episode retroactively incorrect, which is irritating, but there you go. So, here's a quote.
You know what? That's okay. We've been wrong before.
And we'll be wrong again.
Damn right we will.
I've got a quote for you, which is an example of how armor can often look extravagant and eloquent, and it varies from Inquisitor to Inquisitor. So this is how Inquisitor Ozma looked in Eisenhorn. Ozma was a well-built, broad-shouldered man in his 150s. He wore brass power armor that glowed almost orange in the ruddy dawn, Ornate malleus crests decorated his armor's... Oh, dear lord. Why have I volunteered to read this out? Bessagues? And Oh, my... All right. I'm going to put this in, and then after I've read this out, you can give it your best shot, because Jesus Christ. Bessagues and Paulines and 6 purity seals were threaded around his bevel like a floral wreath. A cloak of white fur played out behind him, brushing the tops of the heather and gorse. There are 3 words there that I've never seen in my life. Literally never.
I gotta be honest with you. I would have done about the same thing you did, to be honest with you.
Yeah?
The segues and pollens and gorse and... all right, cool. He's
I'm
he's
fine with
got
heather
an
and
elaborate...
gorse, but Bessague... Bricky, go on. How do you pronounce those? Bessague, pollen, and bevel. Bevor?
Pollens?
I'm sorry.
Yeah.
The person you're trying to reach is not available right now. Please leave a message after the beep.
Smart man, actually. That's fair.
Okay, I guess we're going on without Bricky. The other prominent set of Inquisition power armor is the Ignatus pattern power armor, which is more or less the step between Sister's armor and Astartes armor. It's made on a user-per-user basis, and though it's not as strong as Space Marine armor, it is a hell of a lot stronger than the armor you would find in like a civilian setting. It's primarily made out of ceramite. It has an electro fibre within it that gives it more flexibility, and it's again protected against vacuum, different visors to see different spectrums, and protected against the environment as well. The big difference is that armor, it communicates directly with the machine spirit in the armor itself. So the user speaks to the machine spirit using either a cerebral plug or an integrated mind impulse unit. And much like the Malleus armor, this armor can be very intricate and inscribed with runes and wards depending on the situation. I like the idea of talking directly to the machine spirit. It's solid.
Kirioth, if you were curious, a Bessague, it's a circular piece of armor that's supposed to protect your armpit. So, like, if you ever see like medieval armor and they got that big circle next to that protects their armpit, that's a Bessague. And a Pauline is like armor for your knees.
Oh, yeah. Is it like a little fin-like thing? Like a little, like... that's not a good description. Well, I just said.
Well, it is a thing.
Uncensor them.
Oh, no. Not the armpit armor. Me, uncensored. God, Bricky, no.
Okay, what's a bevel then? What's that one? Beaver?
Oh, I didn't look that up. Sorry.
I still don't know if
I'm
to pronounce
sure it's
any
another
of them,
like
but, you know,
weird piece of
the beaver armor, of course.
The beaver armor.
It protects
it's going to be something like
beaver.
Stupidly specific. Where it's like, yes, well, this protects your third knuckle.
It's like an armor gorget. It's armor that protects your neck. So
I thought that was just a
collar that comes up. Yeah.
Okay,
according to Google, anyway.
I will try and remember that. I'm not going to remember that. The Mechanicum. They've got their own types of power armor, which is known as dragon scale armor. So that's worn by... It sounds solid.
Wait, that's sick as hell. I thought it was going to be called like something substantially more Mechanicus. And I was going to be called like Rune Pattern Excavator 425X3 armor or some crap like that.
Yeah. I was expecting like Armamentum Suit ZX429 or something, yeah.
Damn, DK got better than I do. Yeah.
Well, you're both wrong. Dragon scale. Dragon scale is the way to go. It's a divine combination of adamantine and ceramite plating that is woven together to form something a bit more unique than Astartes armor, and it's micro-etched with incantations of defense. Love it. The convenience of the armor mostly comes in the form of its wearer. Considering that the wearer is on the Mechanicus side of things, integration with the armor is pretty simple as long as the wearer has a cyber mantle, which pretty much anyone in a position to own that sort of armor in the Mechanicus would have. It draws its power from the potential coil that is within the wearer's cyber mantle, meaning that it remains charged so long as the wearer remains alive. Which, honestly, pretty good system. You're not going to need it after you've had your head shot off, so pretty good.
Like
I
the
do
mini
like
a
that.
lot
Is
more than
the-
the artwork, actually.
Yeah.
I just love the so long as the wearer is alive thing.
Look, if you die wearing it, it's going to power down and it's going to be useless for you. What?
It's
Yeah.
you know what? I'm also going to be useless for it.
Mm-hmm. Useless all around.
We've got a bit of a grab bag now. We have the potpourri section. So this is sort of unique, random examples of power armor, as a lot of them fit into like some of the above camps, or they're just random, out of nowhere, unique power armors. A notable one being the Delphi Mark II Ironclad Power Armor. Sorry, heavy power armor. It's important to specify. It's personalized, non-Astartes version of the Mark II armor, and the flatter parts of the body are protected with massive plasteel plates, making it very difficult to maneuver in, and the servo mechanisms that run along the armor are exposed to the air. So even though the armor itself is massive, the helmet is small because the user is not a space marine, which makes the armor an absolute blind spot nightmare.
Yeah.
Sounds
That-
horribly impractical.
Yeah. I don't like that. I don't not a whole lot about that. I'm like, "Oh, yeah, it even looks cool." It's like, nope. That's just a
Nope.
big block of steel that looks vaguely Space Marine adjacent.
Yeah. Outside of just carrying and like shooting a weapon, there's no versatility to this at all. In order to function, it needs a massive amount of power cells. It can only function for 12 hours, and then it requires a recharge. The good news is, it does have like void protection, like you'd find in other armors. The bad news is that if the power armor runs out on the armor, the vents open up as a failsafe to stop you being baked alive. So if a user is in the void and the suit runs out of power, they're dead. They're toast. They just get cooked.
Yikes.
That's pretty funny though. That's classic.
Bad times.
There's a
bad
bunch of
times.
events opening in the war.
What a way to go.
Yeah.
It tends to be more ornamental than practical, and it's usually used to encapsulate the history of the various wearers of the armor. Sometimes it'll be painted nicely. Other times you will have ironclad power armor that is just covered with poles to fly banners, and it'll be covered in ornamental shields, almost more like a sort of parade piece than something actually usable. The last bit of armor, and I'll be honest, this is my favorite bit of all of this because I love this armor. It's the best. We're going to take a short trip to Necromunda, to the upper nobility of the planet, because it's not just the Underhive residents that get in on the planet's gang warfare. Most of the noble houses on Necromunda have youths that haven't really proved themselves to their family members, and these youths are sent to the depths of the planet after taking a vow presented to them by their house's matriarch or patriarch, and the oath can either be to survive in the Underhive or to amass a set number of kills. Regardless of the task, they're not allowed back up to their house, and these youths are known as spirers. I love Necromunda. Everything about it. What an absolute shithole.
Yep.
Even the people in a position of privilege are like, yeah, but I still want to go killing. It's just what a horrible place.
I'm so bored. If only I could massacre the civilianry.
What's
Yeah.
the name of that one lady with the servitors that carry her dress around?
Lady Hera.
Yeah, she's kind of got the same vibe, doesn't she?
Oh, yeah, she's a lunatic. She's killed most of her family and just like, it's kind of got worse for her. Well, I say got worse. As she is as a person, she's become worse, but it's also got better for her in that she now has a suit of armor, which is directly related to what we're just about to talk about. So to accomplish their goals in the Underhive, the Spira is granted a special piece of equipment, which is a hunting rig. Now, the hunting rig is a set of power armor that has been crafted off-world for this like explicit purpose, and it is the stuff of nightmares. So much so that it actually, in quite a few ways, exceeds the might of the armor of a Space Marine. So the hunting rig is self-sustaining, it's self-repairing because it has nanobots, and the nanobots can leave the rig whilst the wearer is asleep and will do anything they can to protect the wearer. They can absorb the material around the wearer to make energy shields, they can make alarm systems, they could make a little turret, they can even manipulate the creatures in the Underhive to defend the hunting rig wearer while they have a nice nap.
That's pretty cool. That's pretty great. Also, that picture of it is wildly awesome.
It's so good. The spires, like the hunting rigs, are my favorite bit of like Necromunda nonsense. Like they look alien. They also require a little bit, just a little bit of augmentation on the wearer's part. So the armor is not necessarily all that conducive to, for instance, keeping all of your limbs. You might need to lose a couple of legs to be able to wear it. You might need your arms broken and extended. There's a few things that might need to happen for you to put one of those suits of armor on. There we go. So there's Lady Hera before and after.
Right. We did do an episode on her, and right. Okay.
That, I mean, I also it's a bit random, but you ever notice how they got like a Necron? It's not actually a Necron, but their little chest piece looks like the Necron's like a sarcophagus symbol type dealio. I forget what it's called.
Kind of does,
It does
doesn't
a little
it?
bit. Yeah.
Yeah,
A little coffin
it
shape.
it has that look because I have the exact same thing on the chest. It's kind of neat. I wouldn't be surprised if maybe there was some kind of like this technology was found in like the deep underground of Necromunda, where there's a lot of green stuff.
Yeah.
Probably not, but like, I don't know. It looks similar.
I did
That armor
read
is dope as
somewhere
hell,
that
though.
it's great. It's so good. Like that, the hunting rigs, full stop, are some of the coolest things for the Necromunda Rage. I did read somewhere that the different names for the suits correspond with certain Tau worlds, but I need to double check that. But it again sort of hints at like kind of alien tech being like used in a covert and odd way. There's also no real information on where the suits come from. It's just they're made off-world. So, okay, cool. They're also nightmarish and weird and very alien. So what the hell's going on? No one's going to answer that question because it would be less fun if they did. But
that symbol in the middle is House Helmwar, and it's her noble house that rules Necromunda. It looks kind of Necron-y, though. Like that.
You know you're not in for a good time when the ruling house of your planet has got a symbol that looks like that.
What? Probably not.
Okay, right.
Also,
well, what we've gone for is a sort of Aquila-esque thing, but it turns into a horrible vampire skull that looks a bit like a spider. That's not what I want. I don't want that ruling over me. Look at it.
Is the hunting rig, are those only used in Necromunda by these nobles because they're the only ones that can, I assume, afford it? This isn't like something that they're like, oh, well, I mean, hunting rigs, wow, these things are amazing. Nano machines, son. Throw them into the Imperium as like a fighting force?
They're only mentioned specifically in the context of Necromunda, but I would have thought that it'd be possible to get them elsewhere. They're also not like used by anyone else. They only really show up when it comes to spirers, when it comes to aristocrats going around murdering the poor or hunting down mutated gene stealers. Yeah, as you do.
Yeah, I mean,
things get long.
40K, you say murdering the civilians. It's like, yeah, that tracks. Sure, why not? Yep.
Just instead of watching a show. The real scary part of the armor when it comes to the hunting rigs is the adaptation system that it has. So the more conflicts the wearer faces, the stronger the armor gets. The armor literally grows with the user and adapts to their fighting style, becoming more and more powerful and more threatening, which also means that no two hunting rigs are the same. despite them all differing from wearer to wearer, there are some classifications of hunting rigs that are more or less descriptors of the fighting style as opposed to like the actual model of the armor. So the Oris style are masters of brute force. They have bolt launchers embedded in power fists, and they tend to just layer on thick shooting wise while protecting the users with a built-in force field. There's the Jakara style, which are built for speed, and they tend to be equipped with a monomolecular sword. They are like fast sword and shield users that get up close with the blade while deflecting blows and shots with the built-in sword. There's an assassin style one, which is the Malkadon, which basically turns the user into a spider. They've got climbing hooks, they've got web spinners, and they are supposed to immobilize an enemy and then move in to kill them, quite often with poison, because of course.
Yep.
And the weirdest one is the Yeld style, which has chameleonic armor, so they can blend in with their surroundings while just gliding through the sky with the wings attached to the armor. And their gauntlets have got laser tubes, which they use for aerial attacks, but they can also use the sharp points of their wings for melee combat. So good. They're so good.
So sick.
So creepy.
Kirioth,
So horrible.
if you had to be in a hunting rig, which hunting rig are you picking?
See, being able to fly would be cool, but the Oris is just the scariest. I think it's this
one too. Yeah,
I think it's the scariest because it's just so chunky, and the first glance is like, oh, those are some horrible gigantic claws that look like they could crush anything, but then there's bolters attached to the horrible claws that could crush anything. I love that. It's great.
Those wings are too cool. I would totally go for the wings.
The wings are really cool.
And the laser tubes. Yep.
Oh, this is just making me want to get those for Necromunda. And I haven't even finished painting my Palanite Enforcers yet. Boo. Okay, we have one final entry. Because as promised, Leagues of Votan was mentioned at the start of the episode.
Void armor, armor. It's called void armor. I know this fact.
Funnily enough, although not explicitly Imperium-based, the kin of the Leagues of Votan are still technically a splintered part of humanity as a whole, and their armor has all the hallmarks of classic power armor. You've got the Einhir Hearthguard, which is their most aggressive strike force and protectorate of the kin, and in order to maximize their abilities, they've got exo armor. The exo armor of the Einhir is exceptionally durable, more akin to Terminator armor as opposed to standard Astartes armor, and is a servo-assisted monstrosity that is capable of glancing off anti-tank rounds with relative ease. And they also pack in a bunch of fun weapons, like cannons, concussion weapons, plasma swords, or my absolute favorite, the mass hammer, which is still one of my favorite weapons.
I love the name of the mass hammer. It's just like a big hammer that probably has some inner field or gravitational thing. Just you can imagine when you hit something with it, it just does this whoop, boom. It sounds like it probably sounds like the fucking seismic charge from Slave 1.
It's so good. I love it.
Yes, that's such a good sound reference too.
It's such a good sound effect. You know that when the hammer hits, it just obliterates what it did.
Oh, hell yeah.
It's such a fun looking weapon.
Yeah, it's just meaty. All round meaty. Also the big what are those? I'm assuming it's their version of the power pack. The big tube thing sticking out the back of the armor.
The Einhir Hearthguard is the one above that has the pistol and the sword. That guy is the Einhir Champion. I believe it's it's not like a mass driver or something like that. Basically, if I'm not mistaken, it's sort of like a propulsion pack. And so I remember specifically in the game, because of those packs, they would either move really fast or basically you would just shoulder check someone going at Mach 3 and then just cause all kinds of problems. The tiny little thing
that's
on the
awesome.
Ein here is a grenade launcher, but the champion is yeah.
I love
a
those bits on the
shoulder-mounted
champion.
grenade launcher. You love a shoulder-mounted grenade launcher. You love to see it.
Oh,
Pretty
so
sure
good.
pretty sure the jetpack thing on the back is yeah, it's the mass driver accelerator. Yeah, it's a speed booster. I was right. That's how it goes.
Such a good name again.
Mass driver accelerator.
It does what it says on the tin.
I'm pretty sure. I'm almost positive the tabletop thing is you get charge mortals, which you understand, Curio.
That sounds right. It's an army I've never actually faced. No one near me plays them, so I've literally never come across them. But
yeah, mass driver accelerators. When this model enters charge roof, select the unit with engagement range, roll a dice, do mortals. Yeah.
Oh, solid.
So you literally are like, I actually have killed a knight with that once, and just the vision of like this squat, like just putting the helmet on and being like, all right, max speed. It's just like it's so orcish. I love it.
Yeah, although if anyone was gonna do it, these squat little guys with their big beefy armor going at like Mach 2, I could just imagine them just plowing through like a knight's legs and just toppling it.
They straight up have this kind of like what is it? Like I mean, he's so squat and dense. He turns into like an actual cannonball.
Yeah.
It's great.
And he's got a big shield on one arm to really keep him safe as he obliterates something 100 times his size whilst he is used as a human bullet. Oh, great. Okay, well, that is all the power armor we have for today. We've covered the non-Space Marine power armor, I would say, pretty much exhaustively. I don't think we've missed any. And yeah,
we've definitely missed something. There is absolutely an obscure thing of power armor in a book somewhere.
There's a line in a book somewhere. Damn it!
There's always.
I was having to blow through it with confidence. Just be like, no, this is definitely all of it.
There's always something.
Yeah.
I will say that, yeah, the Rogue Trader armor does look sick.
Yeah.
Oh, it does.
Also, there's that new Dark Heresy game coming out that Owlcat are also making. And in the trailer, they got the dude with that he almost has
the gold armor, right?
Yeah, it almost looks like Dante's death mask, even though I know it's not.
But I think he's an Inquisitor, right?
Correct.
Yeah, I was wondering who that was. Inquisitor. I was like, the armor? Because I thought it was like Blood Angel shit too. Because immediately I thought Dante because of the mask, but I was like, there's no way. Like,
it. You know what? I'm looking at the trailer. It does look very sanguineous death mask.
It does. I know
that's crazy. It looks great. But yeah, there's a big Inquisition symbol on the chest. Oh, that's fun.
Wait, that guy is a character?
As in he's going to be in my party?
No, I mean, well, I think he's the Inquisitor who hires you or something.
Oh, yeah.
But I don't know if he's already like a tabletop character. I don't reckon. I feel like I do recognize him, but I don't like recognize him. I don't know. I'm kind of torn.
It might be that the mask is just thrown for a loop, where it's like it looks so familiar that it's kind of
Lord Inquisitor Anton Zerb.
Ooh,
he's a lot beefier.
That is a bulky breastplate. Good lord,
man.
Guy's got a chest like a barrel.
Oh my god, this photo of him.
Wow. Oh my god. That is ridiculous.
Inquisitor Lord of the commissioned leader of the Tyrantine cabal of Inquisitors in the Calixus sector. He believes the black doctrine of the Tyrant Star to be you know what? This is probably going to be done in the game.
Yeah, it probably, yeah.
Apparently he's a powerful psyker. So that's important.
That tracks.
I believe it.
With
that mask, surely.
Yeah, it's holding back his power. That looks sick, though.
Yeah, super
yeah.
dope.
All right. Good stuff.
Yeah.
Good stuff across the board. And
I'm going to go and buy the Spires.
yeah.
I'm just going to go and buy them. I'm just going to do it.
Fair.
I've been absolutely obliterated by reading about them again and then looking at the pictures again. I'm just going to buy them. It's too late for me. Save yourselves.
One day I'll get into Necromunda. That day just isn't today.
Are you sure? The Spires are very cool.
They are.
They
Just
are.
hunting rigs.
Yeah.
No, if I was to do one, I would do the Wastelander, like weird gribbly Mad Max dudes.
Yeah, that's fair. They're pretty cool. They are good.
Hell yeah. Also, first things first, Kirill, thanks for coming by. Thanks for being here.
Hell yeah.
Anytime.
Always appreciate it. I want to give a request to our fan base. If you haven't had a chance to yet, I believe the same composer, speaking of fancy Inquisitors, who did Rogue Trader, I don't know, the Powell Parapelica. I definitely pronounced that wrong. I think is doing the same soundtrack, and the main theme for Dark Heresy is out, and it sounds so good. So I would highly recommend go giving it a listen. Also because I love good Warhammer music. That's it.
Yeah.
Thanks everyone for joining us. DK, any parting words?
Nope. Nope. Just read Flesh and Steel, and yeah, that's about it.
Yeah, and buy Necromunda. Let's go.
Mhm.
All right. Bye, everybody.